I hope you find them interesting as well. So, I'm going to talk about what I've done. I'm going to present my article and what we're preparing. I'm an IT engineer. I have a master's on internet databases. I've worked for 4 or 5 years in a research group within Zaragoza University. Right now I work in Tecnosci. This is a company which belongs to Fondosa. So now I'm going to give you the presentation. The title is Accessible Management of Online Leisure Services. This article and this presentation arose as part of INREDIS. INREDIS is a research project that I was involved in have been involved in during the last 18 months, and a lot of progress has been made with regards to technology and accessibility. We've advanced a lot in this area. So I'm going to introduce INREDIS a little bit, and then I'm going to talk about how we have innovated within INREDIS and the results we've got with one of the platforms that I led. It was a research project on the basis of as part of which we created different pilot experiences and platforms. And my specific platform was accessibility and leisure. But to give you a bit of a background, I'm just going to quickly mention INREDIS, this project. Project INREDIS is a project carried out between 2007 and 2010. It's a Zenit project. These are national strategic consortia for technical research. The idea was not to create an end product, but rather to create new routes by which to reach an objective. We can't start to think at any time that this is a product that we're going to bring out on the market, but rather it's all about opening up new routes, new pathways towards accessibility and technology, which allow routes for communication and interaction between people with some kind of special need and their setting. INREDIS develops basic research in the field of accessible technologies, interoperable and ubiquitous technologies. The next slides will explain what I mean when I say accessible, interoperable or ubiquitous. INREDIS has a huge budget. We're talking about 23.6 million euros for the project, and it has been managed by 14 companies and many universities and research centers. And all of this was led by Tecnosci, my company. And this cartoon is really useful for explaining what INREDIS is. Everything in the past was, that other slide was just a lot of difficult words, but this one's very easy to understand. We can see someone with special needs. In this case, it's a blind person, and their surroundings are full of devices, and each of them uses a completely different language. That person can be shown how to work a washing machine, but you can't teach them to use all of the washing machines that are out there on the market. So if he changes washing machine, then he has to learn once again from zero. And not all of the cash machines are accessible. Information panels as well, for example, at an airport. At the moment, they're not accessible for people with visual impairments. So they need somebody to accompany them and read the information on the screens if it says that the flight's going to be on time or if it's coming with a delay. So this is quite a chaotic situation because each one speaks a completely different language. We want to change the concept. So rather than looking for concepts specifically for the washing machine or specifically for the cash machine or for the airport panels, what we would want to achieve is to teach this person, for example, to use their mobile phone. And then we will take charge of sending the right signals to that mobile phone, for example, if it's a traffic light or the information panel, the cash machine or the washing machine. So that individual only has to worry about knowing how to use their mobile phone. And all of the other devices, well, we will take the trouble. We will be the ones that make sure that they send the right information to the mobile phone, and he just worries about using the mobile phone. So this is a little bit more of a technical slide about the in Redis architecture. Maybe the people who like technological things, you might like this slide. It shows that it can be used on any web navigator. It can be used with any device as a result that has 3G or Wi-Fi or a network connection. So you access your navigator, and this communicates with an architecture which is designed for services, which you can see here in this blue-purple color. So it's directed towards services, which connects on the right-hand side with different target systems or target devices. So what's the difference between these? Well, the services are when the user wants to buy something via a website, an online shop. And the device is when you want to communicate with a washing machine, for example, something that has hardware underneath it, so that when you send the request, that device continues working in order to complete the function. So you've got the software combined with hardware, whereas the services are just software. So with these big words that I mentioned, well, it's all a bit chaotic, and some of them you probably haven't heard of before. But I think here we can really understand it. In Redis, what we're looking for is multimodality. So we can interact in any way with our eyes, our voice, with touch. We can do this in any way. It's adaptable. It has to be adaptable to the skills of each individual. So a person with hearing impairment or visual impairments have to have some way of understanding the message that's being generated, the output. Then we have interoperability. Interoperability is the ability for different devices to communicate between themselves. This is the ability for them to communicate using any kind of language. And then lastly, another characteristic is ubiquitousness. And this is all about using it from any location. So you can use it when you're in the countryside, when you're in the center of the city, or even if you're by the sea. What platforms, what experimental platforms does this include? Well, now we're looking at the overall idea behind InRedis. When InRedis was created, we were looking at platforms to show that it was useful. So we created different platforms. We created the banking environment. We're talking about cash machines in an urban setting, and InRedis connects, for example, with urban elements in the urban setting, such as traffic lights. Then we have the digital home environment related to domotics, in a domotic home. And then we have the working and educational environment. So we're talking about devices that may be present in an office or in a classroom or in a lecture hall. For example, a digital board in a classroom or the computers in an office. And lastly, the one that I'm concerned about, the one that I work in, is products and services environment. If we talk about products and services, we talk about Plapis, the platform for products and